the Chicago Bears stadium news. Now, I'll give it to you so you can explain it in a more detailed. I just know the basic shit. Like I don't know the intricacies. I don't know if I didn't read all the articles. I read like two, and so like and I feel like there's a new update every hour. So for people at home, basically, what's the current update on the Bears new stadium?
So Indiana passed a bill, I think it's SB 27 or something like that, that basically facilitates the move for the Chicago Bears to move to Hammond, Indiana. Um, so it was passed unanimously 24 to nothing. So basically, the infrastructure of a deal is in place, but they're still working on the details, the elements, and all of that thing. So while the bill has been passed, that does not mean that the Bears will be moving anytime soon, because you also have to understand that the Bears have money to pay the city of Chicago for their rent for Soldier Field. So that's one. You still got to find the exact place you're going to put the shovels in, because also what's come out is the environmental part. Now, if you go to that side of Hammond, Indiana, it's a lot of steel mills and things of that nature. And you got to see what ground is fertile enough to go ahead and make sure that you build that. So while Wolf Lake is near the area where the Bears would be if they were to go to not Indianapolis, excuse me, Hammond, Indiana, it's still some things that need to be taken care of. But Illinois also have to take advantage of this time, and according to JB Prisker, it ain't over with yet. The way I see things and I look at things, this is the 11th round of a 12-round fight, and the Bears need a knockout. The Bears need a knockout because the state of Indiana is basically giving them a sweetheart deal. Illinois is not. And JB Prisker feels like he could work out a deal. However, he got to look at the state assembly. He has to look at the state congress to make sure that they work together. So the Bears, it looks like it's in the direction of Hammond, Indiana, but Illinois is not out the woods yet.
Yeah, and I'm glad too that you said that the update because I feel like it's been a lot of miscommunication out here. A lot of people haven't been really telling the full story of everything that's been going on, and that's why I feel like you got a lot of these insane takes that's been coming out. Now here's my I've been pretty much uh, on the same opinion of this since we heard about this. I think what 5 years ago at this point now. This is
Yeah.
prior to Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren came in 22. So I think they bought the Arlington land in 2021.
Yep.
So since then, I've always said I love Soldier Field, but I hate Soldier Field. I have a emotional attachment to it, obviously, because we're Bears fans. It's the only field we know. Ain't been so many good moments there. I mean, ain't like this is like when the Niners were getting rid of Candlestick Park, and it was like, oh, I
Right.
remember
Everybody was
the
crying and
five,
shit.
yeah, the five Super Bowls that was one there, or when the Warriors got rid of Oracle. Like I don't have many. Most of my memories of Soldier Field are terrible. On three of my top five, no, two of my top five all-time Soldier Field moments happened this year. Okay, so that just tells you all about that. But I feel like the only thing everybody keeps talking about the location. The only thing cool about the Soldier Field location is the fact that it looks hard from like an overhead shot. Like if you watching Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, you can hear Mike Tirico in the back. Welcome to cold Chicago, and like you hear that. But like actually being and like, of course, we drive on Lakeshore Drive. You driving downtown, you see it looks cool. But there's only I've been blessed to have been to 17 NFL stadiums. I've been to like five baseball parks, and I've been to like five NBA arenas. Out of all three sports, the only stadium that is harder to get out of is Dodger Stadium. That is the only stadium that is to me is if you're a fan, if you don't have a media parking pass or you're not a season ticket holder and you got a season ticket holder parking pass and you're able to park into the Waldron lot, it's a pain getting in and out. That's one of the main issues with it. Yeah, there's stuff around. I know that some people were disagreeing with what oh man, what's her name? She's on First Take now. She used to be in Chicago.
Oh,
Um,
Shay Cornett.
Yeah, Shay Cornett, when she said that there's nothing around, it was like, no, there's stuff. It's downtown. Like, yeah, there's stuff around,
I mean, it's
but you still got to go like 10, 15 minutes to get to it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, I've only been to like two Bears games as a fan before I started covering them. And I remember to pick up an Uber one time. I went for my 30th birthday, and I had to go into a residential street, which was like 20 minutes away. Damn near by where the Roosevelt, where the Walgreens is at, and I had to take a whole little detour to get over there to call Uber. So that's the issue with that. And then also just inside, it's just an old stadium, bro. It's an old stadium. The renovations that they did 26 years ago now are just. It looks like it's like basically they took the old stadium and dropped like a hammock on it, whatever, like a something around it, robotic. The old stadium looked better than this, so I just think it's time to upgrade. And I don't care. They can build on the moon, bro. And that's why I don't really like the whole outrage from the fans because you're gonna come there.
But see,
Like
it's
it
fake.
doesn't.
It's
Yeah,
fake outrage. It's it's fake outrage because you feel that it's the Chicago Bears, so it should be played. Football should be played in Chicago. None of this rage is going to matter in 2031, 32, 33 when they see that big, beautiful stadium wherever it is. And if it's in Hammond, that because we're talking about something, if it is 2026, we're talking about something that's not going to happen for at least the next 5, 6 years as you get out of one stadium and go to another. So nobody's really gonna care when, like you talked about that overhead, right? Nobody's gonna
yeah.
care when they see that overhead of Hammond, Indiana, and you see that big, beautiful dome that's right there.
I'm gonna
They're
tell you
gonna
what they
angle
gonna
that
do.
camera. Go
They
ahead.
gonna they gonna start the overhead from downtown, and then it's
Right.
gonna then it's gonna come down. That's what's gonna be. They gonna keep
That's gonna
showing the
happen.
overhead.
Nobody's gonna care when you in the climate controlled stadium. Nobody's gonna care when you got cup holders.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna care when you ain't gotta have your keep your coat on for the rest of the game.
Nobody's
And
gonna care when Vince McMahon or not Vince McMahon, Triple H says WrestleMania's coming.
yeah, no, right. Nobody's gonna care when the NCAA tournament, when their finals is gonna like the final four is gonna be in that building.
When the Super Bowl inevitably comes, because that's
Nobody's
gonna
gonna
come too.
nobody's gonna care. Now, would I rather the state like if we were to ask a question of where would you rather the stadium be? Of course, I would rather it be in downtown Chicago.
Yeah,
But
and
have you guys seen downtown Chicago?
right, yeah,
It ain't a lot of space.
yeah. In a perfect world, I would tear down McCormick Place because don't nobody ever use. I can't remember the last time anything's been held at the McCormick Place.
I mean,
Um,
no, C2E2.
you know what I'm saying? Like that he said, AS from the South Side of Chicago don't really care. I mean, that's what I said. Like I did like
Oh, go ahead, because I'm gonna tell you what my thought is around this.
okay, and so like for me, like I used to work at McCormick Place. I used to do stuff. It was like this place called Chicago at Your Service. It was a college job I had, and we would like host the different conferences and stuff at McCormick. I ain't seen nothing been at McCormick in a long time. Tear all that down and build like parking space over there. But that's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Tear down Soldier Field, but then again, I don't even know where would they play if they tore down Soldier Field. Like I don't even know where they'll play. And then that would be a bigger issue. Because when they playing in like Champaign, when they
Yep.
did renovations, ain't nobody going
Oh,
all the way out to
they're
Champagne.
playing Evanston. Pat Ryan has a stadium built for
Oh
them.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So my thing is on the actual thing, on the actual stadium outrage, is one thing we do as Chicagoans, we're very proud, and I get it. We're also very arrogant. I think that our arrogance is underrated. Everybody talks about New Yorkers' arrogance and Texans' arrogance. By the way, like I've always said, I don't know if you're from Texas, why you're arrogant to begin with, but whatever. Y'all know my feelings on Texas. In the words of Ari Gold, I've worked very hard to not go to Texas. Okay. But Chicagoans, very underrated arrogance. Very underrated. And we want everything to be in Chicago. Now, this was like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from the city, 50 miles away, like how far Levi Stadium is from downtown San Francisco. I get it. This is an extra 10, 15 minutes if it isn't Hammond.
So, so first of all, shouts out to Michael Irvin who said that they should never host the Super Bowl again.
I'm glad he said that.
That's one. Two, Connor Orr. I shared it on Facebook because I saw it on Facebook. But Connor Orr took a trip from Soldier Field to the Hammond, Indiana site, and he timed it. It's 25 minutes. It's 25 minutes, y'all. Stop complaining. But I know where a lot of this complaints is coming from. And shouts out to Rachel Nichols because Rachel Nichols said the quiet part out loud. And if you look at my video on my Instagram, JR Bang or Some Dude Media, the quiet part out loud. It's not the South Side. It's North. It's Lake County. It's all everybody up north. Cause now they have to come all the way out south to come see a Bears game where they didn't have to do that. That's where the complaints are
Yeah.
from. And you know what? I don't mind those complaints because if you are a Southsider complaining about this, you're dumb because you're right down the street from Hammond, Indiana. You can look at the stadium outside of your window if you're on some parts. Now, I know we had a conversation on the text thread about Hallis Hall and compared to that. And the only reason why I bring it up here is because that's going to be the issue. Like a lot of stuff is now like we can talk about the stadium all we want to. And like I told you, and like you said, I don't care. What's going to happen next is there is going to be they are going to have conversations on where 10 years from now, where do we go? When it comes to training camp, do we are we going to be there in Hammond or do we find a spot in the south suburbs to say, hey, this is where our Hallis Hall 2020, well, it was 2026, 2036 is going to be. See, the only reason why I will cut some people bail when it comes to the stadium is if you do move it to Hammond, people got to understand that it's going to be more that comes with it. And you got to realize there's going to be a lot of changes. And I don't know if a lot of people they want that change. So on the flip side of it, though, I think it's going to be a lot of opportunity on the south side of Chicago. I think it's going to be a lot of opportunity for Hammond, Indiana. And low key, it gives a chance for the Bears to really own Hammond, Indiana, and work with Indiana state legislator, work with Hammond on building around it. That is the questions. That is actually more of the questions that I have if they go to Hammond. If you go to Hammond, what are you going to do around it? You already got that in Arlington Heights. You have all of that space there. But what are you going to build around Hammond, around that stadium if you go to Hammond, Indiana? In what 2036 is Hammond in the southwest side of Chicago, the southeast side of Chicago. Is it going to look totally different? Because again, when we have this conversation about the stadium, it's not coming up tomorrow. It's not coming up next year. This is a project that's probably 5 to 6 years in the making, and 10 years to for us to see it fully bloom.
Yeah, I think if they actually put shovels in, the ground this year, then I think 2030 will be the earliest you get this stadium.
Right.
Actually, no, 2031 because it takes about four
Yeah,
years
to
to build a
2031.
stadium. That's how long it took to build SoFi. SoFi was supposed to open up in 2019. No, 2020. Yeah, they think they started in 2016 and it was supposed to open up in 2020, but COVID, so they didn't open it up. It was done in 2020, but they didn't. Nobody got in there until 2021. My only debate to the Hallis Hall thing is they already do training camp there, and outside of the actual games, the players aren't going to be in Hammond, Indiana anyway. And as far as lengthwise, from Hammond to Hallis, maybe another 10, 15 minutes. Like for me, if I'm going, it's the same length. So I don't. If they do, it takes me regardless. So it
He's
don't
like,
really
it don't
matter.
matter to me.
Yeah, it takes me. If there's traffic on a good day with no traffic, I get the Hallis Hall in an hour and 15 minutes. That's why I try to be out of Hallis by 1:30 at the latest. If they're doing open locker room, a lot of times I don't stay for that because open locker room ain't until 2:30, which means I ain't finna get home to almost 5 o'clock. And but
It
your
says an
your
hour and 6 minutes.
yeah, and I get your point. You saying everybody when they build a new stadium, they build something new. But even with the Rams, they building something in like I think it's Westview or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like 36 miles away from Inglewood. So I don't know if they'll move it. I'm
But
not saying it's.
did you see the press conference? In the press conference that the mayor of Hammond did, he mentioned that too.
He mentioned it, but he also, I think it was Adam Hogue says he don't. Adam Hogue was kind of saying what I was saying. Like they just
Yeah.
did renovations,
Only
and I
reason
just don't see it.
the here this is why I say that even when we talk about this stadium, it's still a hold up. Wait a minute, because it's 10 years before we really see everything. Like it's still 10 years before like we see development around it and what we're gonna do. Like yeah, the Bears definitely spent a lot of money on renovations at Hallis Hall, but if they go to Hammond and they're entrenched in that, like I ain't saying it's gonna be in Hammond. First of all, let me say I'm not saying that it
Yeah,
would be in Hammond.
Because Mikey had a good point in the chat. If they're still gonna be playing, they still gonna have to pay Illinois taxes, and if they
But it's
still
still
want to be
yeah.
known as the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise like it don't have to be like the New York Nets, I mean New York Nets, the New York Giants and Jets to where they are all in on being in Jersey, but they're the New York football teams. But I can see in 10, 15 years, Hallis Hall being moved to the southeast side of Chicago in one of those suburban areas that they can have control over. Because when you do that, now first of all,
I find it very hard to believe they're gonna put the millionaires on the southeast side of Chicago.
look,
Then again, the Bulls are on the west side. So
and here's the other part. Again, is all of this has to come with development, which is
yeah,
why my caveat to all of this is even with the Hammond part, what you gonna do around it? If you just think you gonna build that and then that's it, you already messed up in the first place. But in 10, 15 years, just like, and I use this example to anybody, you go look at Ukraine Village. I remember Ukraine Village was on the episode of Cops. I remember that was one of the most dangerous areas that my aunts lived in those projects over there. 20 years later, it looks damn near like paradise. So I just think that even when we have this conversation about the stadium and people complaining and all that shit, don't look at this with the eyes of 2026, 2027. You have to look at this in the eyes of 2035, 2036. Because once they build that stadium, then they have to build around it. We already know Hammond got a whole bunch of steel mills and all of that. Where that shit gonna go? Because do we really want the skyline of Chicago being mixed with a whole bunch of steel mills? Do we want downtown Chicago to be mixed in the same spot that Freddie died at and Freddie too? No, we don't want that. It's gonna be a whole lot of development. And I am also telling y'all this, Black Chicago. If that does happen, either start fixing up your place to Airbnb or get ready for a whole lot of development on stuff on that side too.
and
Because it's coming.
to me, it's the same people who complain about the Obama Center. Now,
That too.
here's my thing about the Obama Center. Everyone's like, it's gentrification. Look, man, that's just how life is. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be blunt to y'all. I always say gentrification. The idea is not bad. The execution is
Execution, it sucks.
getting people out of their houses definitely. But having nicer stuff is a good thing. So, and also, if I'm the first black president, you damn right I'm gonna have my own music. Like
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like it was, oh, you don't need that much space. I am the first black president and I didn't get shot when I was in office.
Yeah,
I'm
every
gonna have an
president gets a
NBA court
library.
up in there. Yeah. And remember how we always say everything's rollout. I don't know if y'all peep. Obama been on a rollout for about 3 months now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Obama been on the rollout. When I saw
He's
him
on
at
the
the
rollout.
All-Star game and he all on the NBA and he's like,
And it was an ad.
yeah, it was an ad. Oh yeah,
It was an ad.
we can come hoop at the Obama Center. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then they
and
played the
I'm
commercial afterwards.
exactly. I'm not mad at you, Barack. You were the first black president, last good president. I'm milking everything. So my point is this: like, maybe I just don't get emotional about things like this when it comes to sports. And I get emotional about a lot with sports. But like when I be seeing people crying, like when I'm trying to think of what stadium. I don't know. I mean, Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you've seen the documentary 30 for 30 on the final year of the old Yankee Stadium. and people were out there crying.
What?
I don't
Boston,
get it.
Boston Garden. People
Yeah,
was
Boston
crying at
Garden.
Boston Garden. Let me get a seat. Let me get a piece of the parquet.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Chicago Stadium. Oh
Chicago
my
Stadium.
God. When Chicago Stadium went down, boy, you would have thought it was the end of the world. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do?
But I
And
also
then
want
United
people.
Center came, and it was like, oh,
It
they
was
still ain't
nice
got
for
cup holders though.
1995. Yeah, I'm about to
They
say it
still
was
ain't got no
nice for
cup holders though.
1995. Like y'all always say everything about United Center is nice until you get to the third 300 section. I've said that 100 times. But my thing is, now I'll wrap it up with this. This whole thing shows that people don't read.
No,
Hey, everybody's like Bears are going to Indiana. They're not, as nothing's been decided yet. I still think if I was a betting man, which I am not, but if I was a betting man, I still think when the smoke clears, it would be in Arlington.
so
But
you think it's still gonna
Illinois,
go to Arlington?
I think that it can because, like you just for the reasons you just named, of building a Bears town around it, it just the space makes more sense over there. Also, the Bears bought that space. They don't have that much liquid money to just be buying land and just don't do anything. Now, I will say this: that is depending on if the state of Illinois plays ball, which at this point, I don't feel like it is.
Nope.
JB Pritzker's been in interviews saying, "Oh, we just want to know what's happening." Y'all know what's happening. Y'all just called a bluff. And at the same time, and I saw this on the score, and I don't want to call out names or anything, but this was really irritating me. They were saying things like, "Oh, I don't think they're negotiating in good faith," and also, just take the deal. So they say Chicago. I would love to be in negotiations with all of you. I will rob you blind because obviously
Yeah,
none of you can negotiate.
that
It's
just shows.
ridiculous.
It just lets you know what their contract look like. Like that, what their contract look like. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Nobody
Exactly.
negotiates in good faith.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And then they
You
said, "Oh,
nego- you
they're
you negotiate
gaslighting."
what you could get.
They said they're gaslighting the fans. You give us a good season, now you're leaving, bro. This is
Whoa!
what it's like. Hold on, let me just say. Let me just
Go
get this.
ahead.
This
Go.
is
Let me
like
go ahead. Clear the lane. Go. I'm gonna clear the lane.
this is like me. I live in Chicago, and I'm like, you know what? I'm moving to Oakland. I'm on the southwest side. That is across the street. Okay. Oh, so I'm leaving Chicago by going to Oak Lawn. It's the same thing. Most of these fans who are going to these games are coming from these areas. Even if you're from the south side, when I go to Soldier Field every week to cover the game, in good traffic, I get there in about 30. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if it's in Hammond, if I leave the same time I leave, I'm getting there in 40 minutes. It's not
Yeah.
that big of a difference. And when you say things like you're gaslighting the fans, oh, they're negotiating in public. When you're doing politics, you do that kind of stuff. You negotiate in public, so people will be like, oh, put the pressure on the city or the state. That's all this is. Don't say, oh, you're gaslighting the fans. And I tweeted this morning. People got upset about it. When you're doing business, especially big business, feelings don't matter, especially fans' feelings don't matter. And from a taxpayer perspective, if you're in Illinois, you should want them to go to Indiana.
Right. See that?
If I'm from Indiana, I'd be tight.
You took the words out of my mouth. If I am an Illinois resident, I'm like, all right, take your ass over to Indiana. Cause here's the funny, because I was gonna mention this. Shouts out to my homie Wild Style. He's from Indianapolis. He'd be doing a lot of stuff in the Indianapolis, in the Indianapolis metro area. So I was joking around with him earlier today, like, yo, y'all just build my stadium so I could be in a climate controlled environment. But then I also said, hey man, I don't even think y'all care about Hammond anyway. And he said, hey man, I think some people from Indiana is learning about Hammond for the first time. So they are mad. We ain't got to pay for it. Hey, take the free shit. You still gonna go literally across the street. And the stadium is gonna be big, it's gonna be beautiful, and you gonna enjoy it. This is why I say this is 6 to 10 years. I'm more worried about the people who ain't gonna make it than people who are gonna make it. But man, that's it. We good. It is what
So
it
you
is.
just okay. This is funny. This is my courage. Said you the same person said we not from Chicago, live in Cal Park. Okay, that's different.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
for
second
you?
time. Yeah, that's my cousin
Oh, okay.
in
I
the
was, I
conference. Yeah,
was like, I ain't say
I'm
that.
like, no,
But
you're not
yeah.
from Chicago. You went to Cal Park.
But no, but here's But the last thing that I say on this is y'all not gonna give a damn when y'all look at that stadium. I too believe that it's gonna be a last second deal, just like
Yeah,
what happened with New Comiskey Park when Jerry Reinsdorf was like, "Yo, we moving to Florida. We already got the logos and everything, Jack. We going to Florida." And then Illinois Governor John Thompson pulled a rabbit out of his hat and literally at the last second got the deal done. I too believe that that's going to be done, and I do believe that the Bears are putting a lot of pressure on Illinois to get this done.
yeah,
But I will not be surprised that in 2022, I mean 2032, 2033, that the Chicago Bears will be in Hammond, Indiana. And
yeah.
last time I checked, it's Chicagoland in Northwest Indiana. We look at Northwest Indiana is our little brother. Well, little brother gonna fuck around and get a new stadium. And for me, I don't care where it is, as long as it's in the vicinity
And
and it looks
especially if the
great.
team keep winning. If the team keep winning, that's 5 years from now. God willing, we got at least a Super Bowl by then. You
I ain't gonna
really ain't gonna
front.
get it.
Look, I ain't gonna front. Them first couple of years, I ain't gonna give a damn if they winning or not. Now,
It depends.
2036 is a
It
different
depends.
story. Cause look, it's gonna look, Scott. It's 10. Look at this from a standpoint, and this is how I end it. As I said, look at this as a 7 to 10 year project.
Yeah,
Half of the people on the team ain't gonna be here. Caleb will be either exiting his prime or right there in it, depending on
yeah.
what's going on in his life. Fam, I
He'll
just
be
want a
on the second
consistent win.
contract.
Yeah, he'll be on the second. I just want a
God
consistent
willing,
win.
Ben Johnson's still here.
Right, good God willing. So we
Yeah,
talking about a whole bunch of shit. I
yeah,
just want Caleb and Ben to still be together at this time.
yeah,
And I
and-
want a and I want a Super Bowl or two
yeah,
at Soldier Field.
yeah. I want at least one or two in the chambers, and it's like, okay, we got our championships, and then you got the banners in there. So
As a
last
matter of
thing I'll
fact,
say,
wait a minute, let me do this real
go
quick.
ahead,
My
go ahead.
father, because my father's here. Hey, Pops, do you care where the stadium is at? As long as they got a Super Bowl championship on top of it.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to, man. I'll say this. It,
You said in the next 3 years.
I'm with you on that one. So like that's really what it comes down to, man. So I will say this though, I do believe they will have an announcement before training camp starts.
And
I do not
ooh,
believe we're going into
yeah,
another
yeah.
season
I
without the
must
answer.
say this. I must say this real quick, Scott. If y'all complaining about them not being in the Chicagoland area, go complain to the Friends of the Park. That's
Yeah.
the reason why they're not in
The park district,
downtown
the whole
Chicago.
reason we having this conversation. They're the
The
biggest
Park
gang in the
District
city.
and the Friends of the Park organization, because they will sue the Bears all day long for them not to be downtown, not to
Yep.
be on the lakefront.